Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Shed of Dread. Right, before we get started, if you could just hit that subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. Thank you so much in advance. Any case, you may or may not be aware that I've done on the channel before, the little thing will pop up there, little thing you click on. I did a video about Nigel Farage and his banking account thing. Now, a lot of people were going, oh, you know, this, that and the other, and, well, if he hasn't got enough money, etc., and it's not a problem, and all this sort of stuff, and blah, 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 and I got accused of this, that, and the other, which is no surprise, really. So, this is how it kind of started. Right, we have here Simon Jack from the BBC. Nigel Farage fell below the financial threshold required to hold an account at Coutts, the prestigious private bank for wealthy customers, the BBC has been told. Right, as I covered in the other one, that actually is illegal. It is illegal for a bank to discuss your personal finances with anyone else. At all. Nothing. Nada. You're not allowed to do it. So in any case, up comes John Sopel, like many people, going, nah, because it's all about, he's poor and he's all making a big storm of it, and we'll talk about Dora O'Brien later. You must feel a bit of a Charlie if you're Nigel Farage, if you claim that the establishment stitched up your accounts. Well, the simple truth of the matter is, they kind of did. They really did stitch him up. Now, you see, Nigel got a 40-page thing. And as it says here, a 40-page dossier of how the people who run in the bank was deciding how to get rid of him, and they should get rid of him. The committee did not think continuing to bank with Nigel Farage was compatible with Coutts, given his publicly stated views were at odds with our position as an inclusive organisation. I'm not going to go over the 40, it's massive and it goes this, that and the other, but the simple truth of the matter is, it was a stitch up. He was actually kicked and denied his bank account because his views didn't match the bank's views. So does that mean that my views that don't match my bank means that I'm going to lose my account? How about you? How about if you said something 10 years ago that your bank doesn't particularly like? They can just close your account now. And somebody was going, oh, it's nothing to do with that. No. The thing is, it's because it's Nigel Farage, he's rich, and it won't affect him. Probably not. But the simple truth of the matter is, which I tried to make in the first video, I have made in comments before, and I'm going to make it on this one, is if a bank is deciding what they will give you as a bank based on your political, personal opinions and views, and if they don't match the bank's, they will close your account and not have to give you an explanation. The only reason that he got this is because he put a Freedom of Information Act in, which you can do with everything else. You know, like Noel Clarke did with his police investigation of the claims that were made that were never verified, and when he got it, no one had ever been to the police. So now he gets hold of a 40-page document which basically says it's all to do with his views. Then it turns out that the person who runs, it says here, it's no surprise to nobody, the Coutts boss handling Nigel Farage's bank account is a staunch Remainer. But of course, it was just a political thing, was it? It was not political, it was because he got no money. He got no money whatsoever. And then it turns out that, yes, BBC Simon Jack, the one who broke the story, was having dinner with the bank chief of, the CEO of NatWest. Oh, and there we go. So I wonder where he got his personal information from. But of course, it's all because he's got no money, and it's not a stitch-up because of his political views. Which, of course, is a worry to all of us. Does that mean by me doing this video right here, my bank, Halifax, decide that my views are not compatible with their views, even though they don't have them, not really supposed to have them, they're supposed to be neutral, they're just supposed to take your money and look after it, you know, but no, because everything has to be political nowadays, and you have to bend in your rules to their opinions, even though and their views, even though they don't tell you them. So how are you supposed to know? And now they want to get rid of cash. No hard cash. Everything has to be digital, so the bank can control everything. And before you know it, It's a Chinese credit score system. You'll be good boy, good girl, and you get to keep your bank account, and you can go places. Yes, but it's all to do with money, all to do with the money. But then Nigel decides, why the hell not, to go there. Dear Simon, every other journalist has accepted the court spin on the 4th of July about the closure of my accounts has now changed their story because it wasn't true. Nigel was telling the truth. Oh, I was surprised the BBC weren't. You have not done so. How was your dinner with Dame Alison Rose, the NatWest chief, on the evening of July 3rd, And were you given a briefing? Do you now accept the reason for closure was not lack of funds? Of course he hasn't responded, but somebody who did respond, and to be fair, kudos to him, was our friend John Sopel. Dear Nigel, I always believe that when I get things wrong, I own up to it. I got it wrong. Sorry. That will teach me to trust reporting of my old employer. Yes, exactly, from the BBC. If your political views were even part of the reason why your account was suspended from Coutts, it is totally reprehensible. Reprehensible. Big word, early in the afternoon. So, apologies have gone. And then, to top it all off, we get this one from Alison Rose. Dear Mr. Farage, I am writing to apologise for the deeply inappropriate comments about yourself made in the now published papers. Notice they didn't say shit all until it was forced. A bit like the BBC with Hugh Edwards. Didn't say shit until their hands were forced. Shouldn't have to be like this, should it, ladies and gentlemen? We shouldn't have to force people to start telling the freaking truth. I would like to make it clear they do not reflect the view of the bank. Well, they clearly fucking do, because you've kicked him out of his account. But in any case, let's carry on. I believe very strongly that freedom of expression and access to banking are fundamental of our society, and it's absolutely not our policy to exit a customer based on their legally held political and personal views. Except you fucking went ahead and did it. Any case, let's carry on. To this end, I will also personally reiterate our offer to you of alternative bank arrangements with NatWest. No, that's not an apology. That's saying, well, yeah, but you still can't have the account you wanted because we don't believe in your views. So it's not a fucking letter. It's not. Darren going, wow, NatWest have apologised. No, they haven't. What they're saying is, yeah, we appreciate your freedom of expression, but you still can't have the fucking bank account you had before because we don't like you. Any case, let's carry on with the letter. I fully understand yours and the public's concern the process of a bank account closure are not sufficiently transparent. No, because they don't have to tell you. It's even in the terms and conditions of your own fucking banking contract if you read it. They don't have to give you an excuse, reason, or whatever. They can just shut you down and fuck you off. Customers have a right to expect their bank to make more consistent decisions against publicly available criteria, and those decisions should be communicated clearly and openly with them within the constraints imposed by law. Yeah, the one where you can't discuss other people's financial things with other people. To achieve this, sector-wide change is required. No, to change this, you all stop after being self-opinionated arseholes and just do your fucking jobs. It's that simple. We put money in your bank, you look after it. When we come to get it out of the bank, you give it us. There you go. But your experience, highlighted in recent days, has shown that we also need to put our own processes under scrutiny too. Oh, right, so initially I was saying everybody else has to change. Fuck you, we're doing it the way we want to do it. But no, we're going to have it. Nothing's going to change because it says right at the beginning of the letter, we'll give you an alternative NatWest account. We're not letting you have the Coutts one because we're really backing what they said because you're a wanker. That's what they're saying. But in any case, let's carry on. As a result, I'm commissioning a full review into the court's process how these decisions were made and communicated. Well, it was quickly obviously got a 40-page document, but there you go. To ensure we provide better, clearer and more consistent experience for our customers in the future. Right, so in other words, you can say, we don't like your opinions, we don't like your views, we're closing your bank account. Well, we've been transparent enough, haven't we? Really? The review will be reported to me as NatWest Group CEO. I welcome the FCA's review into relegation rules associated with politically exposed persons created by the EU to get rid of people they don't like. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. The PEP thing created by the EU is so that people who do not agree with the EU's political stance or have a tendency to speak out can never get a bank account. And we implement the recommendations of our review, and alongside any changes that they or the government make to overall framework. But that's not an apology. Everybody's going apologies. It's not. What they're saying is, we'll give you a new bank account, but you can't have the one that told you to fuck off because they don't like your views, because we technically really agree with them. But we'll give you another bank account. And we'll look into this ourselves. We'll do our own internal investigation, which will come out and make sure that, it's just bullshit. Please do not. I know how, Darren, you need to know this isn't. Nigel and Greg exposing the anti-freedom action taken by banks. Yeah, but that beginning of the letter quite clearly says, still going to give you another bank account. You can't have the bank account you had because we closed it because we agree with the rules. Bollocks. This is not an apology. This is I'm trying to make myself look good because I'm an arsehole and my organisation and my bank got rid of your bank account because we don't like what you think. That's what it is. So I'm sure I'll get comment sections going, oh, but the simple truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter whether you like Nigel Farage or not. There are thousands of people who have had their bank accounts closed and the bank has given them no reason. But now perhaps we can understand some of the reasons. Perhaps some of the reasons are because they don't like what we're thinking. They don't like what we're saying. They don't like anything. We are being held to account and judged by our banking system on a set of principles that they don't share. This is why cash is being told to get rid of. This is one of the reasons why the COOF, the big fraud that it was used to its advantage. It's another way a lot of freedoms were taken away. They could find out how far they could push us in locking us down, hence why 15-minute cities, etc. are now coming into full-fledged thing, because they know that they can just do stuff and the vast majority of people just sit there and do nothing. But they got rid of cash because cash passed it on. So they got rid of cash, made you do all card and everything went online. So now there's no cash. So now the banks have 100% control over your finances. And then if you do something they don't agree with, they will close that bank account and you'll have no hard physical cash to live on. This is what is the other side of this, and this is what needs to be addressed, commented on, mentioned. This takes away your freedom. This means that if you're not a good little boy or a good little girl, we can take stuff away from you. You're heading down the path of a Chinese social credit system and you're blindly walking into it, like people going, no, it doesn't affect Nigel Farage because he's multi-millionaire, he's part of the establishment, he's got loads of money. Why are you worrying about that? You just don't need to, you're being stupid. Really? Really am I? Yeah, well, if you're going to be blinkered to that viewpoint, if that's what you think this is, oh, well, it doesn't really matter to me. That's the whole point. The whole point is so you don't pay attention, so you don't see what's happening. The bank has no right to discuss your financial situation with anyone, especially a news organisation who are going to take great pleasure in plastering it all over their screens. And to go to the BBC, the biggest liars on the planet, that's right, they are, who will only do say something when their hand is forced. He's still not apologised, that reporter, because he don't give a shit. As the great Denzel Washington said quite rightly, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not, as long as you're first. Truth does no longer matter. And now when the truth comes out, they still won't apologise. These are very, very dangerous times that we live in, and this is what happens. Now, you see, you could turn around and say, like, there'll be people who are not as mentally strong as me who go, well, I'm not saying anything because they might close my bank account. You ever thought of that? If you agree with the fact that the bank has done what it's done, then you are an idiot. And whatever happens to you, you deserve. Because you're just allowing stuff like this to happen, and we're being sleptwalked into a horrible future. In any case, I'm done with that for the moment. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. Social media's up above. If you want to see some more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. And if you do, ding the bell, select it to all, and you should get a notification from YouTube that I get done another video. That's, of course, if I don't get too controversial or conspiracy based, which I'm been accused of before. The difference is conspiracies at the moment, it's not much fun being a conspiracy theorist because they just keep coming true. And with that, all you have to do, exit stage left, get out my shed.